A common phrase we hear in the United States is bigger is better. However, today I am here to tell you that that's not always the case, especially when it comes to Americans' weight. In the past 30 years, the prevalence of overweight and obesity has increased dramatically in the United States. There are multiple reasons why these rates have increased, and I personally have had the opportunity to study these reasons for the past 4 years in my college experience. Health and wellness of American citizens is something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I've worked individually with people that are obese to teach them what they can do to live a more healthy lifestyle and decrease these rates in the United States. Many of the causes of overweight and obesity are very prevalent in our culture. This is a very dangerous disease and it can affect anybody in our society. The causes of overweight and obesity in our society are poor levels of nutrition, increased levels of living a sedentary lifestyle, and increased levels of stress. Now here I have a map of the United States, and it shows different levels and percentages of obesity in our country. Now here in the West, where there's mostly yellow color, the yellow describes that 11 to 26% of people in this area are obese. And the area over here in the southeast area of the map is mostly red. And the red area represents 31 to 44% of all people that are obese. That means that 31 to 44% of all the people in this area are either overweight or obese. As you can see, these levels are very high and they continue to increase as the years go on. So today I'm going to talk about why these levels are increasing. More specifically, 2/3 of Americans are either overweight or obese, and the Center for Disease and Prevention has stated that 33% of all Americans in the entire country are obese. Obesity is a very, very dangerous disease. The National Institute of Health has stated that obesity is a risk factor for type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, and many other diseases that are very detrimental to our health. Now, the first cause in the rise of the rates of obesity is poor nutrition in our society. America has set forth dietary guidelines, and these dietary guidelines are there to teach Americans what they should be eating and what they should stay away from. For example, some of the things Americans should be eating are high levels of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lots of water, and things that they should be staying away from are high levels of fat in our food and increased rates of red meat, and they should stay away from these types of things. However, in our society, these dietary guidelines can sometimes be hard to follow, and it's because of an increase in the fast food industry. In the past 30 years, the number of McDonald's that have been created in our country is 27,000. Therefore, the availability and convenience of fast food is causing more families to eat outside the home and eat these meals that are very high in fat content. Foods that are prepared in the home usually have low fat content, more fruits and vegetables, and include more whole grains. And that's why eating in the home is more healthy. However, as I stated before, the increased levels of availability and convenience of fast food are causing more families to eat these types of meals, therefore increasing the rates of overweight and obesity in our country. The second cause of overweight and obesity in our country is an increased level of people living sedentary lifestyles. Sedentary means lack of physical activity. The reason Americans need physical activity is to burn calories. We burn calories because we're consuming calories, and if we don't burn those calories through physical activity, our weight will continue to increase. The average PAL, or physical activity level, of all Americans is 1.55. Derek Chadwick did a study that stated that a physical activity level of 1.8 increases rates of obesity 7-fold. Therefore, Americans with their physical activity level of 1.5 are not even reaching this physical activity level of 1.8, increasing risk of obesity. One of the causes of this sedentary lifestyle that's in our culture is the increase in technology. In the past 30 years, Apple has come out with all new iPhones, there are new computers, there's all sorts of different social media, and children nowadays are staying indoors on these devices and on their social media instead of going out and being physically active and burning those calories. Therefore, because they're not being active, they continue to gain weight. And this is contributing to the increased levels of overweight and obesity in our country. Another cause of these increased rates is stress. Now, everybody in our society experiences stress, whether it be in the workplace, at home, in school, everyone experiences stress. For example, another common phrase we hear in the United States is the freshman 15. Now, the freshman 15, why would that be something that happens? Well, our body, when we experience stress, these stress hormones can turn into increased levels of fat in our body. Therefore, when college students leave home for the first time, they experience school, they have very high levels of stress, and this can contribute to increased levels of weight gain. And because there's a lot of stress in our society that is very competitive, these levels of obesity have increased because of this. Now, obesity is a very dangerous disease, like I said, for every single person in our society. It doesn't only affect some people, it affects everyone, but specifically American citizens because of these culture differences that we have from other places. We suffer from these increased rates because of poor nutrition. We have dietary guidelines that we can follow, and there's been an increase in fast food restaurants contributing to these rates. Also, because of sedentary lifestyle, we need to be physically active in order to stay away from these increased rates of obesity and overweight. And the last one is levels of stress.